So, and this is what you really want to avoid. There's shapeshifters, masked objects galore. So you just don't know what anything is. You don't know what anything is. Welcome back to OOUX, We Did It Again. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Allie.
And we are here to show UX designers what not to do. So OOUX is short for OUX, which is short for object-oriented UX, which is really just a philosophy for designing digital systems that respect the fact that people think in objects. All right, when we go into a physical environment, what do? We figure out what the objects are in our mind so that we can navigate that space. And we do the same thing in digital environments. Unfortunately, sometimes we go into these digital environments, it's not clear what the things are, how they relate to each other, what we can do to them. And that's what OUX is all about. So this channel in particular is all about finding places on the internet, in our phones, which break these fundamental OUX laws of physics, basically. And I've got a really, really fun one today.
I'm excited. What kind of UX fail are we looking at today, Sophia?
We're going to look at a masked object today. And this is, I think, our first masked object on the channel. We've kind of like touched on masked objects here and there. So this is the first official one. And masked objects, I would say, are ones that are like, they're super important to unmask. Okay, so a masked object is basically where we have lots of different objects that look exactly the same. Okay.
They're wearing the same outfit.
They're all wearing the same outfit. So we think about like going to a party and everyone's wearing a mask and you're trying to like learn people's names and they're all wearing the same outfits. Okay. So you're trying to figure out who these people are. This is kind of more difficult than people, when you can see their faces and they're all, not wearing all the same outfit. So we see this a lot because we love design systems. We love design systems in the OUX world. But often design systems are not organized semantically. So sometimes you just have a card. And that card is really flexible and you can put whatever the hell you want in that card, okay? And then what you end up having is these cards with all sorts of different stuff shoved in them. Okay, so imagine like opening your fridge and all your condiments are in the exact same red bottle, right? Like this would be tough, right? Everything's wearing the same outfit and you don't know what is inside, okay? So this one is one that is a little bit maybe sometimes a harder sell. Shapeshifters, super easy sell. This is the kind of the flip side of the masked objects. The shapeshifters are where you have one object wearing lots of different outfits and it's literally money down the drain, right? Yeah. So like it's easy to be like, let's just not do this, right? Let's not reinvent the wheel over and over and over again and maybe just have one version of this thing or just the least effective dose. Masked objects, on the other hand, we're actually asking you to do a little bit more work in differentiating them, okay? But it doesn't have to be a whole lot. So the one that I brought you today is from an app called Lingopie.
Ooh, Lingopie. I've not heard of Lingopie. I'm excited. Okay, what is that?
So much love. Yeah, so much love to Lingopie. Lingopie is awesome. The technology is amazing. So I am learning Spanish.
Oh,
love some Duolingo. But I found this app called Lingopie and their tagline is just perfect. Binge watch shows to learning a language. I think I just butchered it, but it's something like that. Yes. You've heard of this?
Yes. I've heard of the idea of like binge watching a show in a different language that you like love so that you can learn it. Is that kind of what?
Exactly. So my friend Carolyn, I'm going to Mexico in a week to go see her. So I've been trying to like brush up on my Spanish. And she was like, watch Narcos Mexico to help you learn Spanish. So I start watching it and I'm like, I can't hear anything they're saying. Like it's so over my head. And I had this memory of an ad that got serviced to me years ago. And I was like, wait, I think that there's an app for this. And there is. It's great. It's like you watch the show, you can pick out your words. There's flashcards. It has the stacked subtitles. So it has it in Spanish and then in English too. And you can just watch shows and you get like all the colloquialisms, you get slang. I'm learning all the dirty words. It's great that Duolingo won't give me, right? That I need.
Yes.
So Lingopie, we love you. You're awesome. but you got some masked objects. And they,
Ooh. Oh
I
no.
know, I know. And
It
here's
happens.
the kicker. I almost wanted to do this as one big video, but we're going to separate it out because we're trying to make these a little bit shorter. So they also have a bunch of shapeshifters. So, and this is what you really want to avoid. There's shapeshifters, masked objects galore. So you just don't know what anything is. You don't know what anything is really. I mean, you can figure it out if you read and you use a lot of deductive
especially if it's in
reasoning.
a different language.
Well, thank God the labels are in English, but you know, maybe there's somewhere where I might change that eventually. Okay, so let's go in
Show
here.
me what you.
Okay, so this is Lingopie. There is some navigation at the top, TV, music, kids, which could also have TV and music in it. Won't get into that information architecture. We're going to really be looking at these cards. Okay, so I have binge-worthy shows. So I can read, right, which is great. So I know that this is a show because it's in the binge-worthy shows section. Now, if you continue to scroll down, there's more of these little carousels with labels on top. Basically, it's just a ton of these, all right? And you get web series, you get walking tours, you get podcasts, okay? And you get documentaries and like a couple more of these actually. So these are different types of content. Now, I could say it's all a content object, but actually the interaction here is different. Like when I click into the detail page, it's a little bit different. Like a podcast actually is quite different than a show. I could say like a show and a web series is just kind of two different flavors of the same thing. But a documentary, especially, is actually very different. It's just the one single thing versus this is actually, if I go to Greece
Like
here,
has episodes.
yes, it has episodes. Exactly. Exactly. So we could kind of give this a slide here and be like, all right, like there's labels. Okay. So if I read it and I'm scrolling through, I can know that these are all podcasts. But then what happens is we get into these sections that are all mixed in where we have beginner, beginner friendly.
Beginner friendly what?
Beginner friendly what? Is it a beginner friendly podcast? Is it a beginner friendly documentary?
What am I going to get into if I click this?
What am I going to get into? Yeah, recommended for you. It could be I mean, I'm guessing it's a show, but like this could be a podcast. This, like the innovation zone, this could very well be at the rise of electric mobility. I mean, that sounds cool, but like, is it a podcast? It could very well be a documentary too. I have no idea. Cool and fresh. I have no idea what these things are, and they're all mixed in. Okay, this is a quintessential masked object.
This is a great example.
So I didn't redesign all of these, but I do want to give Lingopie a shout for where they got it right. So on some content types, they did an awesome job. So
it looks different.
It looks different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is where they're not making a masked object. Okay. So they get it right sometimes. So movies and shorts, they did a different aspect ratio. And I actually like a movie or a film kind of in this aspect ratio. It kind of feels like a movie poster or something like that.
It feels like the physical thing I'm used to interacting with. I love that.
Yeah. And all it is it's a simple decision of making this into a kind of a portrait mode versus a landscape mode. Unfortunately, it's not consistent, and we do see movies and short films in the previous kind of card. So it's not actually consistent. So I can't actually trust that when I see this landscape, or I'm sorry, this portrait mode, that it's going to be a movie and short film. But what they did do with audiobooks, this is, yes, skeuomorphism, like little comeback of skeuomorphism. Skeuomorphism has its place. Now, we took it overboard, skeuomorphism, for the younger folks out there that don't remember the early 2000s of skeuomorphism. Is kind of where it's like the radio dials that look like dials, the old, maybe we'll like splash some examples of these, I remember the original iCal had like a piece of paper ripped across the top, and like the leather stitching.
Yes.
So a little bit overboard of like trying to like bring the metaphor into digital. But like this is so tasteful. It's all it is. And it's not going to take up a lot of like coding or anything. This is probably just like a shadow. Like this is probably all in CSS. They added this like little shadow in here to make it look like a little bit like a spine. and it's
Oh, yeah.
tasteful. It's done really well. The aspect ratio makes sense. It's got this white banner across the top, so it makes an audiobook really recognizable. And so Lingopie, all I'm asking you to do is do that for all of your different content types. So do it for your podcast, do it for your documentaries. You can do this with iconography, just a little icon in there, or some other little touches that really show like what the thing actually is. And then you're
And I
unmasked.
immediately feel at ease. Like I could, when you showed this slide, I was like, I know exactly what these are. And I trust this product now. Like before those other ones, I was like, felt my anxiety. I mean, I don't know if everyone does, but I do. When it's like, wait, what is this thing? What am I getting myself into? I don't want a podcast. I want to watch something.
Right.
So then am I going to get a podcast? It's like this unknown uneasiness. What am I going to get? And this though, love this. This is great. Great example.
Yeah, I mean, I love what you said about like your kind of anxiety level, because what that is this cognitive load, right? Like your brain is trying to process all these things that look the same with all these different labels, and it just feels like a big jumble, kind of.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I'm trying to make sense of it. I'm truly, and I can't.
I know. And all I'm trying to do is learn Spanish, and that's hard enough. Right? I'm trying to learn a different
I want to
language.
focus on that.
I want to focus on that. So Lingopie, we would love to hear from you if you are out there and you're listening. Tell us what you think. Is this something you think you can do? Maybe some of the decision making that went into this. And we are definitely going to be doing a follow-up video. Probably one of the next ones that I bring you is going to be Lingopie again. And we're going to look at the shapeshifters and then kind of look at seeing like, okay, what kind of experience is created when you have masked objects and shapeshifters all on the same page with all the same content types and objects.
My mind.
Yeah, it compounds. It compounds. It's like this kind of exponential cognitive load dripping out of, making the experience not so good. So
great example there.
So if this video helped you, if this maybe inspired you, let us know. Are there any masked objects that you have in your system? Yes. Send us some links if there's something that maybe you want us to talk about, or you've identified another masked object. Let us know. They are everywhere. And sometimes they're more okay than other times. All right. Sometimes we see masked objects that are sort of like navigation masked objects or like categories or something like that. That's okay. But when we have very distinct objects, we want to give those objects nice, distinct outfits. They deserve it, right? It's like what people are coming for. We work so hard on that content. We work so hard with Lingopie on the podcast and those documentaries and getting all those transcripts and all those captions like amazingly done. Like honor your objects by giving them their own outfits.
I love that. Honor your objects.
Yes. So if this helped, please please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Comment below. Let us know what you think. And we'll see you next time. Happy OUXing.
Bye.